Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where today I'm going to be talking about the week that was so far in pro wrestling. Now, obviously, I missed out on Raw this past week because I was at the movies. So, that will not be covered. Instead, we're going to be focusing on NWA Power, AEW Big Business, and we'll get to that, and TNA Wrestling. So, sit back, relax, grab yourself, whatever munchies you got, and let's get into this one as we start with NWA Power. We start off with the United States Tag Team titles on the line as the Immortals, that's Odinson and Kratos, which two great names, by the way, take on Daisy Kill and Talos, the former United States Tag Team Champions. And who is in the former champ's corner? It's Aaron Stevens. Now, right now he is the manager of the World Tag Team Champions, but if you go back into the annals of NWA Power, Aaron Stevens and Kratos were tag champs together. So, there is a little history there, which is great. Before the bell rings, Daisy Kill and Talos jump Odinson and Kratos. And then the wrestling starts a little bit. Daisy Kill starts off with Odinson. Odinson definitely powers out for a bit. Then in comes the monster Talos. They go at it for a little bit. I'm going to say this. Talos has greatly improved since he started coming to NWA. Including with a great old big boot. Then he succumbs to the pounds. Shout out to Marcus Corvon. And then, kind of near the end of the match, Odinson's in, he's on a roll. Then Aaron Stevens grabs his leg, which sets up for what I believe to be Daisy Kill and Talos' tag finish. But ultimately, Kratos gets his hands on Stevens, roughs him up a little bit. Then Daisy Kill and Talos come out from the ring. Take out Kratos himself. Odinson joins in a little bit. And then we get the bell. The match has been officially thrown out. So no United States Tag title reign for Daisy Kill and Talos. We then see Daisy Kill and Talos brawl to kind of a side entrance, I guess. It's also where catering is, which that's funny. They all brawl for a little bit, but then Kratos pretty much taking out Stevens backstage. And then you have Daisy Kill and Talos come in. Kratos looks him right in the eye and says, "You guys want a piece of what he got?" Daisy Kill and Talos then back off. Kratos goes back to beating Stevens. But in comes the World Tag Team Champions, Blunt Force Trauma, who take out Kratos. Then Odinson, coming in from wherever the heck he was, to make the save. But then Stevens, with that loaded glove, takes out Odinson. And then BFD with a double choke slam through one of the tables. And then they walk off. So, nice little, interesting start for the show. I do wish there was a clear winner, but I understand why they're doing this. We're going to get a rematch down the line, and hopefully a legitimate finish. We then go to a promo from the Southern Six, and I'm going to say this, I've been liking these style promos. It's not in the ring, it's not just somewhere backstage. It's a well-lit, kind of, it feels like it's off-site, like it's at some hotel or something, and they're just shooting the breeze. Especially with Silas Mason, he's held this national title for a while now, taking out everybody in his way, but I'm wanting more. I've carried this national title long enough, and the Southern Six aren't stopping until we hold all the gold, and I'm on to accomplish more in this company. Then we see here Kerry Morton speak up, saying, "Hey, BFT, we're looking to add some gold here." And apparently, Thrillbilly has a big announcement next week. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to what he's got to say. I'm going to say he's probably going to drop the national title and go for the world title, which could be interesting. Next matchup, we got Missa Kate, former women's tag team champion, taking on Taylor Rising, who has been a newcomer to the NWA. And this was a very quickly paced yet interesting bout, with every time Missa Kate tried to pull something off, Taylor Rising had a counter for that. And you can tell during the match that Missa Kate was getting more and more frustrated, until finally she breaks out the hammer and anvil elbows, a la the Blackpool Combat Club, ending with a kick fillet for the win. So Missa Kate looks like she's going for gold herself, so we'll see what happens. Then we get a ringside interview from both Ruthie J and Tiffany Nieves, who have a match coming up next week, with Tiffany pretty much saying, "Look, I beat you already. You already tapped out. And then Ruthie J is like, "Look, I'm the 5-star athlete. I'm going to be the best, and I'm going to get that win back." Before either of them continue, Aaron Stevens and BFT come in, with Stevens like, "Yeah, you two, you can get out of here. This doesn't concern you." With Stevens saying, "I'd like to address the attack on myself from the Immortals. They assaulted me. However, instead of pressing charges, I'm going to give you two an opportunity at the World Tag Team titles held by BFT. And while we know you do care about the NWA, there is one stipulation. At hard times, you gotta lay down and vacate your United States Tag Team titles. And we've all faced harder times before, but you're gonna as you make your decision, we'll be here waiting." So, definitely an interesting stipulation from Stevens. I don't know if the Immortals are gonna do it, but we'll see. We then go backstage for another weird rambling promo from Vampiro, talking about the power he has and about, how we took a beating alone. You stole from us, but now you come back crying. It's too much. In my house, I have access to a lot. You want a favor, you'll have to pay for it. And when you cross that line, there's no coming back. Are you ready to pay? He then looks sideways. Camera pans. It's Mecha Wolf sitting by his side. So, looks like Mecha Wolf is going to be joining back up with Vampiro. I'm not sure what Bestia is up to right now. Hopefully he's okay. We then get a bit of a grudge match as we have Casey Kazana, the younger brother of AJ, taking on his cousin, Anthony Andrews, who, apparently wanted a full-time contract with the NWA. They said no, so he left. And they kind of making him out to be an outcast, which is interesting. Then he came back with Aaron Austin Idol. So it looks like they're going to get their group back together. This match was very, very entertaining. You got Anthony Andrews doing the power stuff, while KC doing, I wouldn't say a ton of flips, but using more of his speed and finesse to get out of situations, including hitting a crazy cross body. But your winner after a power slam, it's Anthony Andrews. Post-match, Andrews attacks KC after the bell. But then in comes Joe Kazana, KC's father. He's in. He's, giving Andrews some pretty stiff-looking elbows. Officials are in, and they break it up, sending each man to their own corner. So, is Mr. Andrews ready for a match? I guess we'll see. We then go to our main event of the evening, and it's a 6-man tag team match playa. It's the entirety of Pretty Empowered. That's Ella Envy, Kenzie, and Kylie Page, taking on the new women's tag team champions, the King Bees, and Natalia Markova, who is the number 1 contender for the women's title. And this match was absolutely crazy. Everyone got their stuff in, and it was just move. Pretty Empowered working Miss B for a long time. It felt like a long time, at least. But then King tags in. Couple of clotheslines. Samoan drop only for 2. Then everyone gets in the ring. Natalia misses on a beautiful disaster kick, which is interesting. So then you have B, you have Natalia, you have Kenzie and Kylie Page on the outside. They're brawling. That distracts King for a little bit. Ella Envy with the roll up for the 1, 2, 3. So your winners, Pretty Empowered. I got a weird feeling that Pretty Empowered are getting the tag titles back. But I guess we'll see sometime soon. So that was NWA Power. Not a bad episode, but it was also kind of, spinning their wheels a little bit, getting ready for hard times, which I don't mind every once in a while. It does seem like next week is a little bit more, is going to be a little bit more focused, so that is that to look forward to. Speaking of looking forward to, we now move on to AEW, not just Dynamite, but it's big business. We start off with Renee Paquette. She's in the parking garage. She's running down what's going on tonight. Then an SUV arrives. The door opens. Once it's parked, the door opens, but no one steps out. But then we'll get to that. We then cut to the ring. All is quiet at first. Then we get CEO. Fans don't start chanting at first because they're like, oh, what's going on here? Mercedes Moné makes her AEW debut. And big pop. Like, that was the loudest I've heard an AEW crowd since Punk's debut, maybe. So then, she gets in the ring, she gets on the mic, she does the Boston, I'm home, which I don't think is a shot at Punk. That's going a little far. I think she's mostly referencing Boston, which is her home city. She then continues, "You can't believe how fast my heart is beating. Thank you for having my back for the past 2 years. You've given me the strength to be here tonight. And starting tonight, we're going to create so much magic together. And that's the whole reason I'm here, to have dream matches with everyone in this women's division. If only you knew how much this means to me. Wrestling has saved my life, given me hope and a place to dream. Thank you for letting me live my dream. My dream led me to the main event of a pay-per-view, which referencing her WWE history, which is nice. I started my training for pro wrestling when I was 10 years old. Then I had to drop out of school at 13 to take care of my sick brother. That's a good one. And that led me to chaotic wrestling. And if I'm any proof, if I can do it, so can you guys. And you guys all want to know why I'm here. I needed to be here. AEW is the only place where Evolution can be global. And I cannot wait to tear it up with everyone in the locker room. And then she brings up something interesting. Willow Nightingale. You and I have unfinished business. But for now, Monet is all elite. And say hello to your new CEO. And, of course, the Monet is all elite. We got the post on social media. And, nice little promo from the newest member of the roster. Cannot wait to see what she does. We then cut backstage. It's an interview with AEW champion Samoa Joe. He's talking about his match tonight with Wardlow. He says, "I don't expect anything different. Wardlow was sent forth by a lesser man. And Wardlow, I hope you didn't forget the debts that you have paid. And I've come to collect here tonight." Which, nice little promo from Samoa Joe. We then go to a weird Adam Cole sit-down promo where he's like reading from a storybook and sort of predicting the outcome of tonight's AEW title match, with Wardlow winning and bringing the AEW title home to the undisputed kingdom. We then go to our first match of the evening. Yes, this is our first match, and it's for the AEW World title, as Samoa Joe defends against Wardlow. And this match was a little bit shorter than I would have liked, but Joe and Wardlow crammed a whole ton of stuff into this match, including tossing people into barricades. I think we had a chair shot at one point. One point we had Wardlow take the AEW title, try to hit Joe with it, whiffed right over his head, with Joe hitting a powerbomb, which that was beastly. Wardlow, near the end, goes for a Boston Crab. Joe gets out of it, right into a standing coquina at first. Then eventually Wardlow falls over. Joe with the grapevine, and winner. And still AEW champion, Samoa Joe. So, not the worst AEW title match ever, but it could have been a little bit better. Like, maybe a little bit more fanfare to it, or something. So, overall, fun little match. Jesus Christ. Post-match, we have Swerve Strickland. He's coming out on the ramp. He's got a chain, and he is surrounded by security guards who is trying to stop him from getting to Joe. And then Swerve hits a security guard with the chain. He books it to the ring. Joe rolls outside the ring on the other side, walks back up the ramp, and then he kicks the security guard Swerve took out on the stage. So, yeah, that's a little bit disrespect from Samoa Joe, but, you know, I'm glad Swerve is still kind of close to the top of the card. We then get a off the escalator interview with the Elite. So that's Matthew and Nicholas Jackson and Okada, with Matthew and Nicholas asking the interviewer to call Okada by his full name, the Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada, which I love what the Young Bucks are doing right now. It's so good. Then Matthew and Nicholas continue. Why don't you have some respect to the best wrestler alive? And then Matthew's like, yeah, don't worry, you're doing a great job. But don't you feel the synergy between the three of us? That's elite. And after 14 years of friendship, 14 million other reasons to join, here we have Okada. And then Okada chimes in, talks some stuff about Eddie Kingston, about wanting to take the title from him. And then Okada turns to the interviewer, says, do you know it's Matthew's birthday? Why didn't you tell him happy birthday? Interviewer says, happy birthday, Matthew. Then Okada, kind of menacingly a little bit, says, no, you sing it. In which we get the start of that, then commercial, which that really got me. The character stuff Okada's doing right now, I think is some of the best work he's ever done. Yes, he's a great wrestler, but now he has some personality to him, which is great. And yeah, isn't it a little lame he's kind of stuck with the Young Bucks for now? Sure. But I think we got some good stuff coming, including this trios match featuring the entirety of the Elite. That's Matthew, Nicholas, and Okada taking on Continental Champion Eddie Kingston, Penta El Zero Miedo, and the returning Pac. And this was pretty much everyone's greatest hits. And they just went at it. Like, this was a great little match. Near the end, Matthew is distracting the ref while Nicholas is in. He gets trying for a super kick. Then Okada with a low blow, a Rainmaker, and your winners, the Elite. Then post-match, Okada bends down, picks up Eddie Kingston's Continental Crown, holds it over him, and then drops it right on top of him. God, I love what AEW are doing with the Elite right now. Eddie Kingston, Pac, and Pentagon are a heck of a team together. That's for sure. And yeah, this is going to be interesting to see where this goes. We then get a Will Ospreay in-ring interview. He comes in the ring, pretty much says, I'm all worked up tonight. What do you guys want to do? I was asked backstage what I wanted to do tonight. And I said I wanted to go talk to the beautiful people of Boston. And it's clear I always wanted to emulate the story of Bryan Danielson. He always left it in the ring for everybody. And Danielson, I'm a man of my word. We're both the best in the world, and you asked me to prove it. And allow me to remind you of who everyone was talking about post Wrestle Kingdom. And that was the Tiger Driver 91, which I hit on Omega. Which, yeah, we're definitely getting Ospreay versus Omega soon. Which, yeah. And you asked me, was it worth it? And I say, heck yeah, it was worth it. And with blood flowing out of my head, I told Bryan it was. Bryan, I respect you. It means more to me than anyone else that we're having this match. And there's been a phrase that's been following me for a while, and that's steal the show. We're the two best wrestlers on planet Earth, and only one man walks out a winner. And I'm going to respect the man standing opposite me, but when I get between the ropes, it's go time. And between us, it's about finding out who the best in the world is. Oh, Ospreay. Ospreay with that beautiful little promo pretty much cemented himself into a main event slot. He's got it all. He's got charisma. He knows how to work the crowd really well. And of course, world-class athlete. I cannot wait until that match at Dynasty. That's going to be absolutely nuts. We then get a very interesting backstage promo from Deonna Purrazzo. As she says to Toni Storm, you think our little fight is over? You obviously love to play the numbers game. That's fine, because I'll find myself a partner and we can take you both on. And I know you guys have a match on Collision, so we're going to be watching that very, very closely. At the end of the day, you're the one who has to watch for the shoe, because it's heading straight up your ass. A nice little fired up promo from Purrazzo. That's going to be an interesting little rematch. Next up, oh boy, this one was all kinds of nutty, as it's Switchblade Jay White taking on Darby Allin. And Darby usually going for his usual high spots. Jay White doing everything he can to keep him grounded. Goes for the Blade Runner a couple of times, but that gets blocked. Once into a Stun Dog Millionaire, which is a great name for a move. Darby with a Scorpion Death Drop for only a 2 count. At one point, Jay White makes it out onto the apron. He's kind of halfway on, halfway off. Darby goes for a coffin drop onto the apron, but whiffs, hitting the side of the apron, which I've been told that's the hardest part of the ring. Jay White's in the ring. Ref almost gets to a count of 10, which will ensue a count out. But Darby beats it. Jay White gets him up, hits a Blade Runner for the 1, 2, 3. And your winner, Switchblade Jay White. And his partners, the Guns, that's Austin and Colton, come out. They join Jay in celebration. And then you'll have Jay White extending his hand to Darby Allin, who's just waking up. They shake hands. Looks like Jay White's about to leave, but then the Guns attack Darby Allin. Jay White gets a chair and Sting's baseball bat, which Darby Allin brought out. They put the chair folded onto Darby Allin's leg. They're looking to hit it with a bat. Out comes the Acclaimed. They stop Bullet Club Gold for a little while. Caster and Bowens are helping Darby Allin out of the ring. Then Billy Gunn takes the bat from Jay White. Jay White then picks up a chair, clocks Billy Gunn with it. Then the Acclaimed put Darby Allin down ringside, get back into the ring, and they brawl with Bullet Club Gold. Then Bullet Club Gold get the Ring of Honor tag, 6-man tag titles, a couple of belt shots to Caster and Bowens, a Blade Runner to Billy Gunn, and then they get Darby Allin back in the ring, put the chair back on his ankle, hit it with a bat, which, that was brutal looking. And I'm going to say this. As much as I really liked the Bang Bang Scissor Gang, and yes, that was their name, they really didn't do anything with their goal, which was to take on the Undisputed Kingdom, which they never really interacted with them. So, how about instead we have these two factions feud and stop with the Bang Bang Scissor Gang nonsense? I like it. It's something that needed to happen a long time ago, and I'm just glad it happened. And then we go to an interesting match, but also a weird match, because it's tag team action as Hook and Lionheart Chris Jericho take on the Gates of Agony. That's Bishop Khan and Toa Liona. And at first, they just beat up poor Hook for a bit. Hook gets back in it, tags in Jericho, who's back to doing his own thing. Whiffs on a lion salt, which that was awkward looking. Brings Hook back in. He's on a house of fire, including a great big axe handle. Jericho tags back in, goes for the Lion Tamer. That gets blocked. Actually, no, what happened was Hook has Red Rum held on to Bishop Khan. That gets kind of blocked, but then Jericho comes in, hits him with the Lion Tamer as the Red Rum's in. But then Toa Liona breaks it up. But then Hook really hooks in the Red Rum. And your winners by submission, Hook and Chris Jericho. Now, I'm going to say this. This might be a little controversial. I think Jericho deserves a break. Like, the match itself was fine, but I don't know if they really need Jericho anymore. Like, he's still a very talented wrestler, but he could use a little refresh. So, next up, we got a Kyle O'Reilly interview. Talking again about how it's been 2 years since he got hurt. And how he didn't think he was going to make it back to the ring. I wonder if I can still hang with the boys. And then I got my eyes on someone. And that's you, Bounty Hunter. That's talking about Brian Keith. And I'm hoping this guy brings out that Kyle O'Reilly. And then, once again, we hear Kyle as Roderick Strong and the Kingdom roll up. Pretty much, which Roderick saying, look, I got nothing but respect to you, my man. And if you feel like you gotta do this on your own, so be it. And then the Undisputed Kingdom walk off. So, yeah, that's going to be very, very interesting. We then get to see Riho. She's getting ready for the main event. And yes, the women are the main event. When who comes out? It's Mercedes Moné. They chat for a bit. Then they shake hands. Thus setting up what's going to be going down a little later. Next, we have a Jericho and Hook duel interview, with Jericho calling the Gates of Agony no joke, and calling Hook a future world champion. But then Jericho's like, I gotta get something off my chest. Next week, I'm challenging you to a match. I want to really see what you're capable of. And then Hook's like, yeah, let's do it. And then kind of fist bump. So we're getting Hook versus Jericho next week. I guess I'm a little excited, but we'll see. And Fine Alamo for Big Business. It's our main event as Riho takes on Willow Nightingale. And this was pretty much classic big powerhouse versus speed demon match, with Riho trying to outmaneuver Willow, but Willow more or less using her power. There were points where Riho took advantage of Willow. She tries for a 619, but that gets caught by Willow. And an insane combination of strikes, knees, and a couple of clotheslines. Riho tries for a roll-up win, but that gets blocked. Willow Nightingale brings her up for a go with powerbomb. And your winner, Willow Nightingale. And we see Willow. She's checking on Riho. Then they have a little embrace. Riho gets out of the ring. Lights out. Lights come back on. Julia Hart is on the ramp. That distracts Willow Nightingale from Sky Blue, who attacks Willow from behind. This brings Julia Hart into the ring as she joins in. And as Sky Blue has Willow Nightingale up, Julia Hart looking for a belt shot. Out comes Mercedes Moné to make the save, who hits a gory special. I don't know if that finisher has a name yet, but I guess we'll see. And then we have a little stare down between Willow Nightingale and Mercedes Mercedes Moné, sorry. As they have a little history, as Willow actually beat Mercedes Moné to be the first New Japan Strong Women's Champion. So there's probably still some hurt feelings about that. Maybe this is where they turn Willow heel, although I hope not, because I love Willow. So, yeah, very eventful episode of AEW, Big Business. My only downside is Chris Jericho. Like, rest of the match, that was really good. It's very clear Chris Jericho needs a breather. And I don't mean just for a couple weeks. Anyway, that is it for me for AEW Big Business. We now finish off with TNA Wrestling. And we start off with an X Division title match as Chris Sabin takes on Mustafa Ali. And before the match even gets started, Sabin takes out Ali's security guards, who is dressed like the Secret Service, which is awesome. This match, I'm going to say this. Was it as good as their last bout at No Surrender? I don't think so. But was it still a really good bout? Absolutely. Including near the end where Ali, he has the X Division title. He's about to hit Chris Sabin with it. Chris Sabin with a big old clothesline. Then Sabin grabs the belt. He goes for a belt shot. Ali ducks it. Ali with the roll-up for the win. So Ali gets to keep his title. And he did it a little underhandedly, which I do not mind. We then go backstage for an interview with Nick Nemeth, Speedball Mike Bailey, and Trent Seven. With Nemeth saying, we guys, trust me, we're no gentlemen, but we're the greatest trio in wrestling. We're going to beat the Rascals and Macklin. Then after that, we're going to win some gold. And we're going to take them to the Danger Zone. I love that. Nick Nemeth definitely feels like he's settling down here in TNA. I do wish he had that global championship, but maybe it's something on New Japan's part. And as much as I wasn't into him at first, I am loving the combination of Mike Bailey and Trent Seven. It kind of has a mentor-mentee thing going on, like when Trent Seven and Tyler Bate were first teaming. It definitely has that feeling for it. We then get a Josh Alexander in-ring promo asking the crowd, "Do you know what makes me special? When I'm locked in, there's no one better than me. I proved it with my title run. I proved it when I beat Will Ospreay. That's before he went to AEW. But then I had to relinquish that title. And since then, I've been focused on nothing but getting my title back. And I've climbing back up the ladder. And that brings me to Hammerstone. I rolled out the welcome mat for you. I was hyped for you that you signed. And you brought the fight in our first match. And then we all saw how Sacrifice played out. You couldn't beat me fairly. And then, heck, you also tapped out. And then you picked up my headgear like you're a trophy hunter. But you think my headgear is my identity? No, this is. This heart, this fighting spirit, that's my identity. Now, this does seem weird, but I want to thank you, Hammerstone. Because right now, I'm not focused on the title. I'm focused on kicking your ass. And I'm not waiting, I'm not asking you. I'm telling you, get out here and let's do this right here, right now. And instead of that, we get Dirty Dango's music. And out comes Alpha Bravo and Oleg Prudius, the former Vladimir Kozlov, with Alpha Bravo saying, "Look, we all know you lost at Sacrifice because the only reason you did lose is because Dango softened you up for Hammerstone." He goes on for a little bit. Then from behind, through the crowd, Dirty Dango gets in the ring, tries to attack Josh Alexander from behind, but then he grabs him by the scruff of the hair, throws him over the ring. Then Oleg Prudius gets in. They kind of have a stare down. But then security in maybe a little too quickly to break it up. Then Santino Marella comes out. He's on the microphone. He says, "Look, this fight looks interesting. Do you guys want to see this?" Crowd responds greatly. So this match, let me summon a referee. Referee goes down the ring. Because this match is happening right now. Ding, 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 ding. And we have this fight. Josh Alexander versus Oleg Prudius. And Josh just on Oleg right off the bat. Some strikes, a couple of stomps. Not only does he lock in the ankle lock, but he rolls it and kind of has it on the side. And then Oleg taps out. So your winner, the walking weapon, Josh Alexander. Pretty much this is made to make Alexander look really, really good, even after a loss. I can't wait for round 3 for Alexander Hammerstone, Josh Alexander. That match is going to be tight. We then go to a Crazy Steve promo, and he's up on the ramp. He repeats some of his promo from a couple weeks ago. Pretty much saying, risk of sounding redundant. Who I am is simple. What I am is definitely more complicated. And many are now recognizing that. And all have been defeated by my hand. And I'm the only champion to have this title defended on a regular basis. Only I can handle that kind of pressure and no one else in the locker room could handle it. And out comes PCO. They have a little bit of a stare down. Then Crazy Steve backs off and heads to the back. A Crazy Steve PCO feud. Not something I would have said I would have seen coming, but I'm pretty excited for it. Next up, we got Ace Austin, former tag team champion, taking on Frankie Kazarian. And this match, well, starting off a little slow, definitely picked up right in the middle, including a blocked monkey flip, which you don't see that much that often. Good little back and forth. Ace Austin eventually gets the monkey flip, misses, completely whiffs on the fold, but then counters a fade to black, tries for a roll up. That gets only a 2 count. Frankie Kazarian tries to go for a chicken wing, but that gets blocked, with Ace Austin hitting an electric chair driver only for a 2 count. Kaz once again trying to get the chicken wing in, that gets blocked. Also goes for an unprettier, which outside of Christian Cage I haven't really seen that. That gets blocked. Ace Austin is on top, looking to go to attack. Kazarian meets him at the top, gets him in position, fade to black, gets countered into a roll-up only for a 2 count, and then eventually Kazarian gets in the chicken wing for the submission victory. So, very, very good match. I'd say go give it a watch if you haven't. Post-match, Kaz goes after both members of the ABC as Chris Bay is in checking on his partner. And who comes out and makes the save? It's Eric Young. So, yeah, this feud is absolutely continuing. I am all about it. We then get it looks like it's in a parking lot promo from The System. That's Moose, Brian Myers, and Eddie Edwards. They all run down their accomplishments, which Moose definitely mentions his NFL credentials and how he learned under the Bill Belichick system. I didn't know he was a Patriot. That's awesome. Then they pretty much finish up with Trust the System. So, not sure where this is going to go, but it should be good. Next up, we got a backstage interview with Time Machine. That's Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, and Kushida. But before they can get a word in comes the grizzled young veterans. They're saying, look, you guys think you were the top trio, you were the team to beat, but now you got beat and you're not on top anymore. Then Alex Shelley pretty much grabs the mic saying, look, you guys want to prove yourself against the best tag team? That's fine. Next week you can take on the Time Splitters. In which, whoa! Shelley, dude, you're just going to throw Sabin under the bus like that? Let's get the machine guns together. Let's do it, man. So, a little more dissension in the ranks with the Motor City Machine Guns. It's going to be interesting to see where this goes. Next up, we got a very weird matchup as AJ Francis and Joe Hendry finally lock horns. And I'm going to say this, while AJ Francis isn't the best pure wrestler in the world, he and Joe Hendry put on a heck of a match. Like, this was really, really good. A lot of really good back and forth. Near the end, Francis hits a big splash on the ref. Hendry and the ref are down. Francis gets a chair. Misses on a chair shot. Then Joe Hendry with a drop kick to the chair to the face of Francis. So both men are down. They look at each other. They're going for the chair. Who runs in? It's Rich Swann. And he has them both begging. He picks up the chair. He picks Hendry up. Chair shot to Joe Hendry. Then he leaves the ring. Ref wakes up. Chokeslam by AJ Francis. So your winner, AJ Francis. So it looks like we are getting a Rich Swann heel turn. And I think it's been long overdue. Like, don't get me wrong. I love Rich Swann. He's a great competitor. He kind of hit his ceiling a little bit, especially after losing the Impact World title to Kenny Omega like 5 years ago. Like, I can't even believe that happened. That's wild. Then we get a sound check segment. That's Alan Angel's new backstage interview segment. And his guest is Ash by Elegance and her concierge. They run down the set a little bit. Alan Angel says, look, I'm a big fan of yours. I went to a signing of yours not too long ago. Then Ash says, oh, I've had millions of signings. I don't remember. Then Angels moves on, says, oh, you have a big announcement for us. What we got? So Ash announces that I'm having my third match here in TNA. And then the concierge is like, oh, that's your scoop. You got big time. But now we got a little more waiting. We gotta go. We gotta leave. And so they do. And Alan Angels is left marking out a little bit. Which, honestly, I find that a little funny. We then go to the first match as champions for Danny Luna and Jody Threat, aka Spitfire, which I love that name. They're taking on a couple of enhancement talent, but before the match begins, both MK Ultra come out. Both members of MK Ultra comes out. They sit ringside, and then Decay's out. They stay on the stage, and yeah, this was actually a very entertaining squash match. The opponents to Spitfire did get some stuff in, but ultimately, after a lunar lander, an aided lunar lander, your winners, Spitfire. So then everyone else goes to the back. Out comes Tasha Steele, who grabs a headset from commentary, saying, look, you guys are doing a great job out here, but I got something to say. Last week, Jordynne Grace, you didn't pin me. I was never pinned. This is a message to Jordynne Grace. Next week, it's going to be me versus you, and I'm going to take back what's rightfully mine, the TNA Knockouts title. Ooh, all the fire. I love Tasha Steele's character. She's just so good. And hopefully we can do something with her sometime soon. And we got our main event of the evening, as it's Steve Maclin and the Rascals take on Nick Nemeth and Speedball Mountain. And oh, this match was great. This was just action. It was a little hard to keep up at first, but then I pretty much got it. At one point, the Rascals try for a Doomsday device, but that gets blocked. Nick Nemeth with an Olympic Slam, which always pops me. Love ya, Mr. Kurt Angle. Then, at some point, Nick Nemeth misses a Fameasser on Steve Maclin. Maclin throws him over the top rope. Goes for a Scud Missile dive. Nemeth moves, and he hits Trey Miguel on the outside. So Wentz then gets up in Maclin's face. They kind of argue and push each other around a little bit. Then Wentz picks up Trey Miguel. They leave. Speedball Mike Bailey with a big moonsault. They get back in. Tornado kick into a suplex by the Speedball Mountain, and a Danger Zone by Nick Nemeth. So your winners, Nick Nemeth and Speedball Mountain. Post-match, the system out and they attack Nemeth and Speedball Mountain. Nemeth tries to fight back, but then Alicia Edwards grabs Nick Nemeth's leg. And then it just finished with belt shots from Moose. And the last shot of TNA is the World and Tag Team Champions standing tall in the ring. Man, this was a fantastic week of pro wrestling. I am so invested in what I'm watching, and it's great. So that is it for this part of the week. Coming later tonight, obviously, is Friday Night SmackDown. Then we also got AEW Rampage. And then on Saturday, it's AEW Collision. A lot of good stuff coming up. I can't wait. And we're rightfully on the road to WrestleMania. I think we're under 20 days to the show. So it's definitely going to be an interesting time. We got some twists and turns left in us, and I'm here for it. So I hope you guys enjoy. And until next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.